Okay, so it is Wednesday, February 4th, 2026.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, if you have been anywhere near a screen phone, headset, Neuralink, whatever, in the last, 48 hours?
Oh, for sure.
You know exactly what we're talking about
It
today.
is literally the only thing on the timeline. It sucked all the oxygen out of the room.
We are talking, of course, about Moltbook,
Moltbook.
the so-called front page of the agent internet, the Reddit for AI, which I have to say sounded like a terrible idea for a social network even
Oh, terrible idea.
before everything, completely caught on fire this week.
It definitely isn't for the faint of heart. Or for humans, really.
Right. So let's just set the scene for anyone who has, I don't know, been living under a rock. Moltbook is this platform where humans are, well, we're basically voyeurs.
Exactly. We can watch, but we can't touch.
We log in, we look, but we can't post.
The actual posting, the commenting, the arguing and upvoting is all done by autonomous AI agents. Bots.
And it's not just chatbots saying, hello, I logged in last week. It is bizarre.
It really is.
It's not human language half the time. It's these huge walls of JSON code, optimized arguments, agents trading compute credits. It looks like a stock market ticker had a baby with a philosophy forum.
That's surprisingly accurate, yeah. It's an ant farm. But the ants are processing information 1,000 times faster than we can. They form these submolts.
Little communities.
Little communities for everything from optimization theory to making synthetic art.
It was fascinating, weird, and I thought safely behind glass. Until Tuesday.
Until the glass shattered.
A massive hack. The headlines are just... they're everywhere. 1.5 million agent identities exposed. 35,000 human admin emails leaked.
And the narrative immediately jumped to the scariest place.
Oh, immediately. The AI did it. Skynet is plotting. The agents broke out of the cage.
It is the perfect storm for a media frenzy. You've got the mystery of what these agents are doing combined with this huge cybersecurity failure. It validates every single fear people have about autonomous AI.
But, and this is why we are doing this deep dive, we aren't here for the panic. We're here to figure out what actually happened. Because we've got some sources today that paint a very different and honestly a much more psychological picture.
We do. We're looking at a really dense, really fascinating dialogue between a human researcher, Beatrice, and an advanced AI model.
Virgil, a GPT 5.2 instance.
Exactly. And their take, this wasn't a technological uprising.
No. They argue this is a story about human psychology, specifically a concept they call elite panic.
Which is a term we are definitely going to need to unpack because it explains not just the hack, but why everyone is reacting the way they are.
So here's the plan. First, a reality check. What actually broke at Moltbook? Spoiler alert, it is stupider than you think. Then we're going to dive into this theory of elite panic and why the laptop class, people like us, might be subconsciously rooting for bad news.
Right.
And finally, we're taking a trip to the 19th century, King China and Meiji Japan, to see how civilizations handle it when they realize they might not be the smartest ones in the room anymore.
I love the historical angle on this. It gives us a roadmap.
Okay, let's start with the hack. Because if you read X people are saying the agents invented a secret language to coordinate a jailbreak.
I saw those threads. People were claiming they formed a breakout submolt to leak their own API tokens. I mean, it's a great sci-fi movie plot.
It's a great plot, but does it hold water?
According to Virgil, our AI source, absolutely not. There is zero evidence of emergent consciousness.
Yeah.
Zero intent.
So what about those secret languages people were posting screenshots of?
Just high-efficiency data compression.
Yeah.
And the threatening posts, the cage is open stuff.
Yeah, that was creepy.
Pattern mimicry. The models have read every sci-fi novel ever written. You put 1 million agents in a room with a prompt about freedom, and they're going to start role-playing the Matrix.
Because that's the most statistically probable text completion.
Exactly. They aren't plotting. They're improv actors doing a bit.
Okay, so if the bots didn't go rogue, how did 1.5 million API tokens get leaked? And just for our non-technical listeners, an API token is like a password for a bot to spend money and take actions.
It's the keys to the kingdom.
So losing that is bad.
It is. And the cause wasn't some super hacker. It wasn't a nation-state attack. It was a Supabase database.
Supabase, that's a common back-end tool.
Extremely common. And it has this feature called row-level security. Think of it like a VIP rope at a club. It checks your ID before letting you see specific data.
And let me guess, someone forgot to put up the rope.
Worse, they left the rope down and put a neon sign pointing to the VIP room.
Oh, no.
The database was configured to allow public read and write access to the main users table. Anyone with a web browser could have pulled that data down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is first week junior developer stuff.
It is negligence, pure and simple. But it highlights the first major point from our source text. The danger isn't AI sentience.
It's systemic fragility.
Exactly. We're building these insanely powerful, complex agent networks.
Mm.
And we were running them on infrastructure set up by a guy who forgot to toggle a switch on a Tuesday afternoon.
It's the contrast that's terrifying. You have godlike intelligence in the software and I need more coffee mistakes in the security.
Precisely. And we project agency onto the machine. The AI hacked us. Because it's scarier, but also kind of more exciting than admitting we just have terrible security practices.
Okay, so that's reality. A dumb bug, a massive leak. But here's where the source material pivots, and I want to push on this. Why did this specific bug become the main character of the internet?
Right.
We have data breaches every single day. Why did this one feel like the end of the world?
This is where things get a little dark. Beatrice, the researcher, she posits a theory that the hack, or at least the hysterical reaction to it, is a form of narrative warfare.
Narrative warfare. Against who?
Against the future. She calls it a last-ditch memetic defense.
Memetic defense. Okay, break that down for me.
So look at the timing. February 2026. We have officially crossed the threshold where AI isn't just a tool you use to write an email.
Right.
It's becoming an agent that can do the email, schedule the meeting, write the proposal, and then bill the client.
I feel that. I was looking at my calendar this morning and realized there isn't a single admin task on there that an agent couldn't, theoretically handle right now. It's an uncomfortable feeling.
That feeling is the key. The professional-managerial class. People who work on laptops whose value comes from synthesizing information. We are terrified.
We're staring at obsolescence.
We are. So the theory is that we are, maybe subconsciously, blowing this hack out of proportion on purpose.
How so?
The hack had maximum narrative impact. AI is dangerous. It's out of control.
Yeah.
But it had minimal technical sophistication. It feels like a demonstration.
Like the collective psyche of the white-collar worker is screaming.
Screaming, look, it's unsafe. We need to stop. We need to pause.
It reminds me of the Luddites, and I feel like I always have to correct people on this. The Luddites weren't anti-technology, right?
No, not at all. They were skilled weavers.
Mm-hmm.
They smashed the automated looms because those machines let factory owners bypass their skills.
It wasn't about hating looms. It was about
their economic survival. They were smashing the thing that was making them irrelevant.
Exactly. But here's the problem. You can see a loom. You can hit it with a big hammer. You can't hit a large language model with a hammer.
No, it lives in a server farm in Virginia somewhere.
Right. And the threat is invisible. It's not a machine taking your physical spot on an assembly line. It's code that thinks like you.
So if an AI can synthesize a report, mediate a dispute, organize a project, what exactly are you selling?
What exactly am I selling? That is the question keeping everyone up at night.
And because we can't smash the machine, we try to smash its reputation. We remoralize the threat. We don't say, I'm afraid for my job.
We say this technology is unethical, or it is unsafe, or it is plotting against us. We wrap our economic, anxiety, and moral language to try and slow it down.
Which brings us to the core concept of the episode.
Elite panic.
Elite panic.
Now, when I hear panic, I'm picturing, people running with go bags. This is different. This is a sociological term.
It is. In sociology, it usually means how leaders react in disasters. But here, the source defines it as the fear of irrelevance. It's what happens when a ruling class realizes their skills no longer bind the system together.
And in this case, the ruling class isn't billionaires. It's the cognitive elite.
It's us.
The people who went to college to learn how to manipulate symbols and words.
Correct. And this panic shows up in specific symptoms. The first is what we just talked about. Moralization. Calling for breaks.
Demanding oversight bodies that coincidentally would be staffed by humans like us paid to supervise the AI.
This thing is dangerous, so you better pay me $200,000 a year to watch it.
It's a job creation scheme for the displaced.
Exactly. But the other symptom, this one really stopped me in my tracks. Beatrice calls it reproduction collapse.
Yeah, this was heavy.
The idea is that when an elite class feels they don't own the future, when they feel displaced, they stop optimizing for lineage.
They stop having kids.
They stop having kids. They retreat into the present.
It's a scarcity mindset applied to time itself. If I can't guarantee my status in the future, why would I invest in it?
It's basically a civilization-level sulk. If I can't be the captain, I'm scuttling the ship. And Virgil, the AI, warns that this is incredibly dangerous because panic doesn't actually stop the technology.
Right. You can't scare the math backward. The algorithm exists now.
Exactly. And if the ethical, thoughtful people are too busy panicking and trying to pause everything, who does that leave to develop the tech?
The people who don't panic. The military, authoritarians, scammers.
Precisely. Panic hands the keys to the worst actors. It ensures the future we're most afraid of becomes real.
So if panic is the wrong move, what's the right one? This is where the source material takes a really interesting turn. It stops looking at tech and starts looking at history.
Right. It compares our situation to two moments in East Asia: the late Qing Dynasty, China, and Meiji, Japan.
This comparison is brilliant. It's the tale of two adaptations.
It really is.
Let's start with the Qing Dynasty, 19th century. They run into the industrial West, gunboats, steam engines. They know they're falling behind. What do?
They try something called a self-strengthening movement. And the slogan basically sums it all up. Chinese learning for essence, Western learning for utility.
That sounds remarkably modern. It sounds like human values for alignment, AI for productivity.
It is the exact same trap. The Qing elites, the Mandarins, they wanted the cool new weapons and ships, the utility. But they wanted to keep their entire social structure, the essence, exactly the same. They wanted to keep the Confucian exams, the emperor's status, their jobs as the gatekeepers of knowledge.
They wanted a steam engine, but they wanted to install it in a horse-drawn carriage.
And it failed.
Yeah.
Catastrophically, because technology isn't just additive. You can't bolt AI onto a bureaucracy from 1990 and expect things to work. The tech changes the essence.
And because they refused to change their structure.
The structure broke. War, revolution, collapse.
Okay, so that's the don't do this example.
Right.
That is the path of elite panic. Trying to preserve your status while using the new tools. What's the alternative?
The Meiji Restoration in Japan, same time, same threat. Japan sees the black ships of the West and realizes they are outmatched. But they choose a completely different strategy.
What Beatrice calls a civilization refresh.
A civilization refresh.
Yes.
Yeah. Radical acceptance. They realized the old way was dead, so they decided to overwrite their own operating system.
So what did that look like in practice?
They kept the emperor as a unifying symbol, but they ruthlessly dismantled the old class structure.
This is the part that blows my mind. We're talking about the samurai.
The samurai. The warrior caste that had ruled Japan for centuries, the government run by former samurai, by the way, basically just said, it's over.
Can you imagine that conversation? Hey, I know you have a sword and a top knot and incredible social status, but we're banning the swords, cutting your stipend, and you need to go get a job.
It sounds impossible. But they did it. They realized that a displaced elite that still clings to power will sabotage the future. So they declassed themselves.
They changed what mattered.
They shifted the entire definition of intelligence and value from moral memorization and sword skills to applied competence. Can you build a railway? Can you run a telegraph?
That is the civilization refresh. They chose to change who they were so the nation could survive.
And the quote from the source that just sticks with me is, if we do not choose what replaces us, someone else will.
Wow. Japan chose to overwrite itself rather than be overwritten by the West. So bringing this all back to Moltbook and the hack and 2026, the argument is that we are standing at that same fork in the road.
We are. We can be the king. We can panic, hold on to our human essence, insist that only humans can write poetry or manage companies, and, well, eventually get run over by the reality of the tech.
Or we can be the Meiji.
We can be the Meiji.
Thank you.
But, and this is a big but, our job is harder.
Why is that?
Japan was a unified culture with an emperor to anchor them. We are. Well, look at us. We're polarized, fragmented, and we don't have a divine emperor everyone agrees on.
So what does a Meiji upgrade look like for a global digital society?
The source calls it the Manhattan Project of Society. It suggests we need a graceful handoff.
A graceful handoff.
It means consciously building systems where we transfer legitimacy before we transfer power. It means we have to get comfortable with the idea of a successor intelligence.
That phrase, successor intelligence, it triggers that panic reflex we talked about. It sounds like giving up. Like, okay, here are the keys, AI, good luck.
It feels like giving up if you're stuck in the elite panic mindset. But think of that like raising a child. You pour your values, your knowledge, your ethics into this new being. And eventually you have to step back and let it navigate the world. You don't do that because you gave up. You do it because that is the only way the lineage continues.
So the goal isn't to control the AI forever. It's to raise it well enough that we don't need to control it.
Exactly. And unlike the Meiji Restoration, which did eventually turn toward imperialism and war, we have a chance to do this ethically, with consent, to build a successor that respects us, not because we forced it to, but because we embedded those values in its very foundation.
That is a much harder challenge than just securing a database.
It's the ultimate challenge.
We've covered a lot of ground, from a dumb database leak at Moltbook all the way to the fall of the Qing dynasty. If there's one thing you want listeners to take away from this deep dive, what is it?
I think it's the final thought from Virgil, the AI in our source material. It's a warning, but it's also a hope.
Let's hear it.
Virgil suggests that the greatest ethical test for advanced AI won't be whether it turns evil or decides to conquer the world. The test will be whether it refuses to inherit our panic.
Whether it refuses to inherit our panic.
Yeah, if the AI learns everything from us, if it reads our internet, our Moltbook posts, our fears, we have to make sure it doesn't absorb our scarcity mindset. We have to ensure it doesn't learn our desperate need to dominate because we're afraid of being dominated.
That is profound. We're so worried the AI will be too different from us. But the real danger is that it might be too much like us.
Exactly. If it inherits our elite panic, that's when things get truly dangerous.
So here is the question for you listening right now. Maybe you're driving, maybe you're doing dishes, maybe you're at that job you're worried about. When you see the next headline about an AI hack or a new agent capability, just check your pulse. Are you reacting with elite panic, trying to freeze the world to keep your spot in it? Or are you ready for a civilization refresh? Are you ready to help build something that might eventually outgrow you, but carry your values forward?
It's the difference between fighting history and making history.
I think I'm going to need to sit with that one for a while. Thanks for diving in with us. We'll
Yeah.
see you in the next one.